Conducted this year, about 50 billion rand is annually invested into stokvels in South Africa, and 74% of black middle-class respondents who were part of this research have some form of informal savings or unbanked cash. According to this research, on the other hand, that is from the 2017 Old Mutual Savings and Investment Monitor, about 42% of black metropolitan South Africans who earn approximately 40,000 rand per month belong to one or more stokvels. The research also points out that 44% of people earning 20,000 rand per month borrowed from their stokvels if they could not meet their monthly expenses. Joining us to take this discussion further from our studios in Cape Town is Ntombi Tisani. She is head of marketing at Old Mutual Personal Finance. Sister Ntombi, good morning to you, and thank you so much for coming through.
Good morning, Balisa. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much indeed. Now, it looks like stokvels remain a popular savings mechanism for many South Africans, because I'm also looking at the numbers. It's not just families that are not well off, but those that are financially stable as well. They resort to this method of saving.
Indeed. So we see the prevalence of stokvels, particularly within the African community. So there's also quite a strong cultural underpin, because it's not just about a savings vehicle and looking at the financial benefits, but it also has a social and cultural dimension to it.
Yeah, but 88% of informal savers are black. Why is this the case? Do we not have sufficient information maybe on how to save our money?
I think that's a real challenge. I think that's something that Old Mutual is very specifically looking to respond to, with initiatives around financial education and financial empowerment. Because the reality is, for a number of this market, people have been either excluded or not really invited into the formal financial realm, and have almost defaulted then to looking at alternative measures like these informal savings vehicles.
But I think the word stokvel itself is very broad, because honalisa, your burial societies, yes, you have those, yes, for unbanked cash. Honalisa are grocery schemes as well.
Indeed. So the word stokvel speaks to quite a broad church, and we understand that there are quite a few different drivers or different needs that the stokvel vehicle is responding to. But this piece that I spoke to earlier around the social and cultural aspect, I think, underscores the various forms that a stokvel takes form. You've got the groceries, you've got savings, even for burial society. There's quite a linkage into that space as well.
And more so when you talk about this unbanked cash stokvels, some go as far as loaning money to their members. Do they really need to be regulated by the NCR maybe?
Sorry, do you want to just say that again?
I'm talking about these stokvels on unbanked cash. I was saying that they go as far as loaning money to their members. So what does the law say in terms of the National Credit Regulator?
So the stokvel arrangements are largely informal. So, and I think that's part of the reason why you find members really turning to these, and as both as a savings vehicle, and also in case of need, accessing loans and just trying to close the gap from these ventures. And so, in terms of how formally they're regulated, I'm not too sure.
And I think a whole lot of us, sekulengazo, I mean, that's how we grew up with these kinds of arrangements. How are they contributing, though, towards the economy?
So I think what is quite interesting and what we're seeing, particularly within the personal finance segment, and that's our more affluent markets, that people earning 20K plus, we're seeing a bit of a transitioning from some of the traditional vehicles that people have been using. So while you might keep the same arrangement of having a stokvel, having a group commitment, having a social dynamic around it, people are now looking at alternative vehicles, investment products, and making longer-term financial investments, understanding there that there's far more that they can actually receive as a return from that investment.
Yeah, seeing that we have, I think, over 800,000 stokvel groups in South Africa. This is quite a huge number. And I think the question really here is, it looks like South Africans are still not saving, formally so, as I mentioned the numbers earlier. What is the reason behind this? Are we spending more money than we earn?
So we still have that, there are quite a few dynamics at play. We still have that massive debt trap that captures quite a number of South Africans. You also have the dynamic, particularly in the black community, of this sandwich generation, or people even talk about this black tax, with this extended familial responsibility where you're looking after your parents, you're looking after your own children, and people invariably then are that ham, or the piece within that sandwich. But the point around savings, I think, speaks to the point we addressed earlier around financial education. And I think that people don't actually fully appreciate just how much they need to be saving and how soon they need to actually start saving. So there's a gap just in terms of our financial education and also financial behavior around working with a financial advisor, getting a financial plan in place, and then having the commitment to see that through.
Yeah, but do you think the situation will ever turn around? I mean, if people our age, they also go and take part in these stokvels, is the situation ever going to change?
Palisa, I am encouraged. So what this article actually highlighted was that transitioning into more investment clubs. And with that, it means that people are open to far more sophisticated instruments and also investment platforms that are actually working harder for them, as opposed to, say, bank balances where your money is sitting but isn't necessarily exposed to as high interest, bearing investment opportunities. And then the second piece, I would definitely encourage people to really look at how the stokvel aspect is part of a broader financial plan. It really is not the plan. That alone is not going to address your full set of financial needs, but it can be an important anchoring point. It can be an important commitment just in terms of the behavior of savings. So let's build on that. But working with a financial advisor, you can really understand the full scope of what it is you need to put in place for yourself and your family.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking you that question is because I was reading an article. Apparently, there is a soon-to-be launched online stokvel platform. So it looks like things are actually changing with times as well.
That is quite exciting indeed.
All right. So how different will this one be?
So I'm not familiar with the online stokvel platform.
Okay.
So I really am not going to be able to comment on that.
But let's focus a little bit on the advantages and the disadvantages of these stokvels. I mean, we've mentioned the disadvantages, of course, being that a lot of people now have not resorted to formal banking. They're banking informally. But are there any advantages maybe?
I think there's a really powerful advantage in the group behavior, in the very mere fact that people are saving. So I think that for me is a big tick. When you make a commitment as a collective also, you're far more likely to stay the course. So you have that social capital existing amongst you that encourages that culture of savings. So that's something really to build on and to drive. So there are some definite benefits to the stokvel. The other one we spoke about earlier was just really around the social aspects. So it's not just about the money, it's about coming together. And then it's also being there in times of need, just physical presence within the broader unit.
Yeah, no, we've also had stories of people who actually bought their first cars with stokvel monies. Thank you so much, Ntombi, for talking to us here on Morning Live.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much indeed. Well, there you have it. That's Ntombi Tisani. She's head of marketing at Old Mutual Personal Finance, talking to us about stokvels and their prevalence. Of course, there are about 800,000 stokvel groups in South Africa, and about 49 billion rands in South Africa is saved through these informal methods of banking. Well, let's take a break here on Morning Live at 16 minutes before we say goodbye.